One. Good afternoon, everybody. Bobby Cleveland here, Executive Director of Oklahoma Corrections Professionals, along with representing JJ Humphreys. I know
Well, Bob,
JJ's. You've been busy again on a bunch of stuff up there at the Capitol, and
and last week we reported from the Texas border. I may go back down there again, go to another part of the border where there's a little more going on. But yeah, we had special session, Bob. I was there till late yesterday afternoon, and so I had a pretty hectic. We had an interim study on some diversionary courts, how to keep people from going to prison. So pretty interesting day yesterday. Didn't get much done on the tax call that Governor Stitt. My understanding that the Senate asked him to come in and speak to them about what he wanted on the tax incentives, tax bills. He refused to come, is what I'd heard. I think from them again. You always got to be careful, get both sides. But he had refused to come, and so they just said, "Hey, if you're not going to come talk to us," they closed it down and went home, which left us sitting up there with, there's no use in us passing anything because they're gone and nothing we can do. So we end up stayed one more day, tried to take care of some business, and then left out of there yesterday afternoon. So kind of a waste of time, wasted a lot of money.
well, I seen Roger Thompson today up there at Holdenville, and I was asking him. I said, "Why did he talk to you guys at all? Why did he call a special session but didn't talk to anybody about what he wanted?" And he couldn't answer.
Well, Bob, you went to so that was at Holdenville. That was the Allen Gamble. Is it Gamble or something?
Yeah, Gamble.
Yeah,
Yeah, and by the way, he was the officer that was killed at OSR a few years ago,
right.
and helping another officer. And what happened was the other officer had got away, and he went into a room that he didn't know that the inmate was hiding, and he jumped out and stabbed him in the throat and passed away. But they
Bob, can you
department.
remember what year that was? That's been quite a while back, wasn't it?
It was 19 or 20.
Yeah, yeah, I remember when that happened. I was actually working for the department when that happened. So they named the new prison. So we're taking over the private prison in Holdenville,
And we've
and
got it. We're on it now.
and they dedicated the prison to him. And so they had an event today to do that dedication. And so you went up there and was part of that, or you went and watched that, correct?
Well, yeah, I was kind of happy that I could go to it, get away and go up there to it, because I think a lot of what DOC's done here, getting rid of the private prisons, I've supported them 110%, and also I supported them 110% by calling naming the prison after a correctional officer. I was I was really happy about that. And funny thing, JJ, I was sitting in my car out front, and Jim Ferris come walking by. No, it wasn't Jim Ferris. Oh, yeah, it was Jim Ferris come walk by. We had a good little conversation, and I was surprised that as an executive that he would act the way he did, but that's okay. But other than that, I stayed for that, and they had a little program inside to talk about it. The show and the governor made it today. The officers today was in Oklahoma. He called it the Allen. I'm not sure if I pronounce it Gamble Day in Oklahoma, and I thought that was real good, and that we can be honoring our correctional officers, because these correctional officers, they go to work, whether it's them or the nurses, they don't know what's going to happen. You never know, and I know while we were even there today, they had an officer got stabbed. I think it was an officer. I shouldn't say that.
No question, our employees, and not just officers, all of the correctional staff. I don't know that people in the state of Oklahoma appreciate things of a lot of people look at law enforcement officers and, what a stressful job they have and how much trauma they see in their job. And what they don't see is the prisons, because the prisons are kind of tucked away, out of sight, out of mind. And what they don't see is the amount of things that an officer or an employee are confronted with, they see on a daily basis. And so, again, hey, they're just underappreciated. It's a job that most people don't think about, and it's awesome to see a person honored. Probation pro. Um, you're out in the community, but you're still. That was a very underappreciated. A lot of people never knew what we were doing. Didn't recognize you as a state law enforcement officer, and we had one of our officers there in Shawnee got shot in the back of the head, just executed him. And so again, I've seen over the years people stabbed. I know we had one there at McAllister that me and you know got stabbed in the neck with the pencil, and you just over the years, it's not that uncommon to hear cases, throughout the year of people getting stabbed. Like you say, officer gets stabbed up there today. I mean, we need to recognize what these officers are doing, how they put themselves in danger. And again, the state needs to be hearing that so that they can recognize just what these officers are up against.
Yeah, and I said officer. I assume that it could have been somebody on staff. I don't know. Maybe should have just said
Well, I
staff.
think it's another thing. A lot of times we don't recognize that all the staff, I mean, most of our case managers, our unit managers, a lot
Kitchen.
of our other staff are right there uh, side by side with them, right there in the units, right there behind the fences. Your educational people, your nurses, all of those people are right there, with inmate contact. So I think we have to recognize everybody uh, that work through.
Yeah, the teachers do a good job up there too. That's the teachers. That's by the way, that's the we went about 3 years with a lawsuit with the state, uh, with the Department of Corrections, and he finally was able to win that one for the teachers, get them the money that they deserved a long time ago. And so I'm really glad that we got that done. But
Well, Bob, a lot of people, especially in your executive levels, don't like the fact that OCP members who join OCP and they think less of people who are OCP members. But hey, these are the heart and soul of the Department of Corrections. Is a member of OCP. Those are the, again, for them to discourage to join OCP or to make out like somebody in OCP is not a quality employee. It just it gets my it gets me riled up a little bit because again, it's just that is the heart and soul. These are the employees. The employees is what makes it work. And again, those are the people that we have to give credit to. Those are the people that I'm out here fighting for. And again, that's why I spend my Sundays, and not Sundays, we switched it to Friday now. We were doing it on Sunday, but that's why I spent my Sundays. That's why I spend my Fridays. And a lot of people don't realize, just like today, us trying to get together and you were out there trying to do a good thing and represent the people there. And again, you're there trying to do great for the people you represent. And again, we got to hustle back here, try to get on this to present what's going on across the state. A lot of people don't realize how much work that is, and a lot of people don't realize the hell you catch for doing it. You get accused of being a bully, you get accused of being, a liar. I've been called a liar. I've been called a bully. Again, the Department of Corrections doesn't have a good relationship with me right now, and that's because we've got on and because we've stood up and we've reported things that are brought to us. We don't, this rape thing that we worked on for so long. If
Right.
you look on the report, I put alleged report. If you ever hear me talk, I say alleged. I say it needs to be interviewed. I say it needs to be investigated. And they come back, no, it's been investigated. I say bullshit. Bullshit. It ain't been investigated, and everybody knows it ain't. Oh, well, we talked to the guy that got accused covering it up. Well, what do you think he's going to say? So the AG, well, we talked to the guy who did the report that got accused covering up. He said he didn't do it. Anybody that would say that, wow, just wow, and we present stuff, we get accused of, oh, they didn't present any evidence. Mine is on anything that I do is on this like this. You can go back and check to see what I say. You can go get on that interview of that hearing. It's all on tape. We can look and see who presented what, who presented evidence, who presented witnesses, and again, mountains of, and they present nothing, yet I get accused of lying. And I would tell you, Bob, anybody wants to accuse me of lying, I would hope they would come on and tell me what I'm a liar. Any day that you want to come on this program, any of the executive staff want to come on this program and point out how I'm a liar, I'm damn sure happy.
You're also a bully.
Well, I'm damn sure happy anytime. Sit down and have you declare how I'm a liar, how I'm a bully. And again, we'll go down through everything that I say and why I say it. And I don't say it is true. I say, hey, here's what we've had reported to us, just like in that rape stuff. But I didn't just come up with that. I put together a packet that thick to say, here's why I believe. And then I said alleged. That means, this is what's being accused. I think it's just that people can't read, don't understand what alleged means, I guess. I don't know. But the thing about it is we put that out there. And again, anybody that wants to say we shouldn't look at rapes and we shouldn't investigate that, I got an issue with. That's kind of the deal. Bob, we had a deal on showers that we talked about several weeks ago.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that. What did we get anywhere with it?
Well, Bob,
we had evidence.
I've turned it over, and my understanding is it has possibly been investigated. I never get told back. I turn over stuff like that, and I never get a report back what's going on. My understanding just through people I talk to that they have turned in quite a report. But again, they're sitting there. When I turn this stuff over and I call them, I don't just call willy nilly. I don't just say, hey, I think, just because, when people call me up and they say, this is what happened, I'm like, and you know this, Bob, you know it as good as anybody. Well, I can't just go on hearsay. I can't just go on nothing. I've got to have something to go off of. I get calls 1,000. I get called all the time. I get emailed all the time. I got called on some extortion stuff today in the Department of Corrections. And I know dang good and well, in fact, it's stuff we looked at before. And in fact, they found evidence of it before. That was their own OIG had done that. And again, I'm getting told, and the person's scared to death for their loved one. Hey, and they're being extorted, and they're like, I don't want you to do anything. I just want you to know, because they're afraid they can't turn it over, can't trust anybody. And I get that. I turn over stuff, and now I'm the bad guy for turning stuff over.
Well, JJ, let me ask you a question. Do you think that DOC covers up incidents?
Well, Bob, they've been sued for it. They got sued just recently for it. And guess what? They were found that they had covered up a person dying. And again, it's kind of understandable. The guy dies. They didn't kill him. He died by, death because I think he had ruptured. You remember what it was? Was it gallbladder or something? I don't know what ruptured, but the guy, appendix. I think it's appendix rupture.
Yeah.
So he had an appendix rupture. That can happen. Of course, he'd come and said, I'm hurting and they didn't treat him. I'm hurting and they didn't treat him. And then he dies. Well, what they did, my understanding out of this lawsuit, they covered it up instead of just going, "Hey, we screwed up and we should have took care of this guy." They covered it up, and that's what the lawsuit was about, them covering it up. And I spent 30 years in. Of course, I've been accused of being a troublemaker, because I filed grievances. Of course, I was the grievance filer for the FOP, Fraternal Order of Police. A lot of people don't like these groups, OCP, Fraternal Order of Police, because they stand up and they represent the people who have no voice. And again, a lot of people think that the administration bullies people, and that's, here's the deal, Bob. How many people call you and say, "Hey, you can't use my name. Hey, don't give them my name. Hey, don't tell them I done this." That's not because they just want to stay anonymous. That's because they're scared to death that if they do come forward. So when a lot of people say, "Oh, it's not a hostile environment," bullshit, it is a hostile environment. It is a hostile environment when every single one of your employees say, "We can't tell our name. You can't use this. I'm not going to give you that." When the inmate parents, "Oh, you can't do it because they'll get, then yeah, it's a pretty hostile environment and we need to work on that. That's what needs to be worked on. When we talk about the culture, Bob, that's what we're talking about. Everybody, "Oh, we're addressing the culture. Oh, we're changing the culture." What have you done to change the culture? What are you doing to change the culture? Because I'll guarantee you the culture is a hostile working environment, and that's what people talk about. And everybody who calls me, that's what they say. Now, I haven't been too straight out on that, and I've been nice, but if we want to take the gloves off, hell, I'll start talking about what's actually going on. I don't think anybody really wants me getting out and really being just who I am and saying just what I think, and I have not done that. I've been very, very cordial and very, very what I'd say professional, trying to call them. When I put that daggum packet together, guess who the first person I called and said, "Hey, we're going to have this going on"? I called them. When I gave the packet, I gave it to them. I said, "Hey, here's this going on. Y'all don't need to investigate. Let this group investigate." But then you need to say, "Well, it wasn't investigated. It never got investigated." And so again, we stepped in to show just from our level where we can produce. Hey, here's you got this written documentation. You got the guy admitting that's what we like to call rape. Nothing done in that case. "Oh, y'all just imagining things. Oh, you're just making up things." Well, we had the witness there. The witness testified that he gave the administration the paperwork that showed the girl and the guy talking about having sex. He went in and admitted to that employee and to the staff that he had sex with her. That constitutes rape. And when they come in and go, "Well, it's consensual," everybody in the prison knows you can't have consensual sex. So we got that. We got these shower things going on. Just for your listeners, what that is, we've had reports that they lock people in showers for punishment, kept them there for quite some time, and that they didn't give them food, water, things like that. Again, that's a civil rights, it's a human rights violation. Turn that in. They're going to investigate it. I'll bet you $1,000 it's going to be, "Oh, nothing to it, nothing to it. Don't stop here. Go on, walk on by." Because again, that's what it's going to be. And I've got it on pretty sound stuff
Right.
that this is happening. I didn't just wake up. But again, Bob, 3 weeks, a month before all this gets out, I call them and tell them on that. And again, and then it gets out. And then I'm going to get accused for getting it out. And that's okay. I don't care. I care less. I care less. But I called them way in advance and said, "Hey, this is what's being said." They called me back and said, nah. Then they come back and said, "Yeah, we're going to investigate. We heard something, go investigate." And I'll smooth fall over out of my chair if they find anything, because I'm going to tell you it's going to come and go, "Well, y'all were confused." I'm going to predict what they're going to say, Bob. I'm going to predict. Let's see if I'm a very good prophet. "Well, y'all didn't understand. These workers didn't understand what they saw. And we had to hold them for a very short period of time. And we were just holding them. And they want to be there. They want to be in a 2x2 cell without food or water. And that's what they want. And that's what DOC is going to come and try to convince you. And I guess if y'all's that stupid, if people are that stupid, they won't believe that. I guess DOC is so used to getting their way, and nobody questions them because everybody fears them. Everybody fears them, and nobody's going to tell them. And so they're just so used to telling whatever they want, and they're so used to either the legislator not knowing or not caring, and the employees too scared to say, so they get away with doing whatever, and they get so used that we're right. How dare you ever even question us? And anybody who has the audacity to stand up and question them is a sorry, low life, lying, bully, whatever I am. That's fine. I don't care. I could care less. You know what I mean? I'm going to do my job, and my job is to field the calls that come to me, weed through and I weed through thousands. I don't bother calling them. And in fact, Bob, I'm going to call them, giving heads up on what I do, because that's a professional thing to do. And I'm not acting very professional today. But you know what I'm saying? I'm going to call them because that's the right thing to do. And because trying to get the problem solved and corrected, I'm always going to give them heads up. But do I expect for any kind of investigation? Do I expect anything? I've got to where I really don't. And again, do I expect to be treated? That's okay. I don't care. I could care less. I'm going to do my job best of my ability. And if people want to hate me for that, then I can be hated. If people want to call me a liar, I'm willing to stand up any day of the week, Let's talk about what I'm lying about, and I will prove I'm telling the truth. And I will do it with documents. I will do it with testimony. I will do it and prove it. And again, as we seen, the department shows up and says, we ain't going to bring the people that was investigating this. We're not going to bring the people who can talk to the matter. We're not going to bring their lawyer shows up, and we ain't going to answer questions on an ongoing investigation. Like this ain't already been tried in court, and everything we're asking has not already happened in court. And guess what? It sounds like the CIA. We can't answer questions. That's an ongoing investigation. FBI, we can't. Like national security at risk, we can't answer that. But yeah, it's already everything you're talking about. You got a court document showing. And I can't even say, yes, that is a proper court document. Yes, that happened. Yes, I'm showing you this right now. Is that true? I'm not going to say it. And then on something that they want to argue about, you're a liar. You're a liar. Yeah, I'm laughing. Just watch the film. You can see who's professional, who's not professional. You can see who lies, who doesn't lie. You can see who presents evidence and who doesn't present evidence. And then you can make up your own mind. And if you disagree with me, that's great. I'm okay with that. It's okay to disagree. So, Bob, I like to say we got a lot going on, and it's a good positive thing that we've got the private prison. Bob, I'm gonna report positive. When we have a positive thing, that's a good positive thing. I'm a little concerned that we're getting too much on our plate, spread out a little bit when we can't hardly take care of what we got. But I think that it's the right move. It's just a question of timing. And whether you're buying property, whether you're doing a business deal, or whether you're involved in a prison, everything is timing, Bob. Everything. Are you ready? I've had pieces of property that I've tried to buy, and couldn't get it done, and then they want to sell it, and I'm not financially set, So everything's got to be timing right. Everything has to hit right. So,
Well, I'm glad that we finally, after a number of years, got out of the private prisons. And I think all we lack now is, I guess, Lawton.
Well, just getting them run right. And again, they may be, I hope they are. And again, I don't care what people call me and how mad they get. I'm not wishing them the worst. I'm wishing them the best, because again, that's the employees. That's about employee safety. That's about the state of Oklahoma. That's about the inmates. That's about inmates' family. So I'm not going to let one person dictate the way I feel, or a group of people dictate the way I feel. I can tell you that, I'm going to report what I get on emails every day and on text and on calls. I'm going to try to weed through those and to verify the information that I'm given. If I'm given something that is of civil rights violation, such as rape, such as somebody being locked in showers, if I'm given reports of people being stabbed or people being mistreated, I call in on that. If that makes the administration upset, what's funny is you call and say, "Well, this is what's reported." Well, you're a liar. Wasn't me who told it. I'm sharing what was told to me, and I'm trying to call y'all and tell you what's going on as a favor. And again, yes, we get on here, and I guess that makes people mad that we get on here and discuss what's been given to us for this organization. And we get on here and tell people what's actually happening. Now, what I laugh my butt off about, what just tickles the hell out of me, is that we got another video that started kind of like ours. I'm not saying anybody copycatting, but it does look like they started their own video to say, we want y'all to respond to us and not talk to those guys over there. You talk to us. Well, here's what's funny. I get call after call after call that says when we talk to them, they won't respond to what we're saying. They ignore it. They won't listen. And again, I get call after call after call saying, "Oh, I can't tell them this. I got to tell you this, and you sure don't use my name." Now, Bob, I know you get as many calls like that as I do, and I get those calls all day, all week. Now, why do you think people are that? So again, they don't like a third party. They don't like us going on. They don't like us talking to the members about actual things. Again, we're not trying to be negative. I'm very glad to be positive this day right here, doing that institution and dedicating it to that man. That is a very positive. Happy for his family. Think that's extremely, extremely positive. And again, I shouldn't get so riled up, but I guess when you get called a bully and a liar, I guess it's okay to be riled up,
Especially when you're getting it from the number one bully of all.
Well, my deal is I'm not going to call him anything. I'm not going to call, we shouldn't even, I wish you wouldn't even use his name. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. And at the end of the day, if everybody's entitled to their own opinion. And again, I try not to use people's names on here. Every once in a while I do slip. Most of the time that's with their financial people I'm not really, really, really happy about. But again, sometimes I've used names, like I say, I try not to, and I try not to make accusations of people or anything else. But at the end of the day, everybody's entitled to their opinions, and I really don't care about, if somebody thinks I'm a liar, again, I'll give them an opportunity to come on here and say what I've lied about. I will be happy to discuss what I'm lied about, because what I say on here, this is what we're reported. This is what's being told. This is the alleged report we received. This is what's going on. But guess what? When you get it after multiple person, and then you get told, "Oh, they're all bad employees." Everybody that calls us is bad employees. Go back and look at the record. Call her down there to the prison. "Hey, what do y'all think about this?" "Oh, they're great people."
Well, I want to clarify something that I wasn't referring to anybody I talked to today when I said the number one bully. I wasn't even talking about anybody that I met that talked to today, but I've heard it from other people make that same statement.
Well, here's the deal. It doesn't matter to me. Like I say, I'm at the point to where trying to deal with all of this and trying to keep quiet about it. And if we're going to just go and we're just going to have an all out conversation, Bob, let me ask you this: how many? We've never even hardly mentioned this. It's been in the news every time you turn around. But the raise that the director got, the qualifications that the director has. We haven't hammered on that. We haven't, but it's been in the news. I got called by news media the other day. What am I supposed to say? Oh, I don't want to talk about that. Oh, I don't know about that. Oh, I don't know if that's true or not. Yeah, I know it's true, and I know everything about it. Yes, I'm going to say absolutely. That's what was
unknown caller.
That's where all this is. And that's not me reporting that. That's not me saying that. That's the news media making those statements. Now, let me ask you, Bob, have you got how many reports have you got from their employees, from your people that you represent, mad as crap about that? Have you gotten any reports like that?
I've had numbers of them reports about it.
Numbers of them.
Right.
And guess what? I've not talked to one person. I've got multiple things. I haven't come out and just beat on that and beat on that. We did address it, and we addressed it. That hey, here's what they're saying. Here's what this is. People are mad, but we haven't just drilled on that and really talked about or tried to talk about. Guess what? How many people have we had on that? We've tried to on all of these issues. I think that we've tried to stay above board and talk on them, but not just make them a personal vendetta out to get somebody, personal attack on. Haven't done it. But the deal is, if you come on and you talk about what's in the newspaper, and again, I figure I get credit for putting everything in the newspaper. And what's funny, I don't. Bob, when I found out about that raise thing,
Yeah.
was when you sent me the report from non-doc.
Yeah.
So you got it on a report. I got it from you on a report. I didn't go out and do that. That's them looking into. That's Tulsa World. I didn't look in. I didn't know what kind of education or anything that the director has. That's them reporting. So again, you know what? You can get mad. You can get mad at me. You can get mad at whoever. I'm done. If you think I've been at war with anybody, wow, I haven't, because I've pretty much been wearing kid gloves up till now, and I can tell you that if that's the way we're going to be, that's fine. Two can play at that game. That's what I'm going to say. And
Well, you think that when you're an executive director of an organization as big as DOC is, that you would be act more a little more professional and be a professional, but obviously they can't.
Well, I'm not going to throw stones on that one. I'm probably the least professional individual. I probably shouldn't be cussing and getting mad, but you know what? And I shouldn't. I mean, hey, here's the deal. Bottom line, I'm not going to worry about it. I'm going to do my job. I want to tell your people, OCP, if you got a problem, you call us. We're going to try to take care of you the way we've always done. We're going to try to look into matters. We're going to try to verify them. And I'll tell you what people get mad is when you put the documentation together. Otherwise, if you're not doing a good job doing that, if you don't put your documentation together, if you don't do a good job of presenting and calling that in, and when you call in, that you're not calling by accident. That's what I don't understand. Is I would have figured they'd know that by now. That if I call, I probably sitting on something or I wouldn't be calling. And if they ain't figured that out, now I'm going to tell you something. Just like covering this up, if we want to, I'm going to predict that's what they're going to do, and I'm just going to say right here, I can prove that that's what they're going. I'm not just predicting that by accident. I know what they already going to do, and I might have something to prove that, but I may not want to give that. At the end of the day, a lot of stuff I don't want to present, because then I'd have to give up who I got it from. And I know that would mean they'd be fired or their life would be a living hell. I know that. I've lived that. And again, people make me out to be, I was a terrible employee. Well, if I was so damn terrible, why didn't they fire me? And again, what was hilarious, not only did they not, but every time they had a problem, guess who they sent to fix the problem? Guess who they sent to straighten out that office? Guess who they sent to go make that arrest or whatever? And you're this terrible employee. Every time you went to a training, guess who got picked for leader on that group or whatever? Yeah, but you're a terrible employee. You know, it's you know, again, whether it's you know, it doesn't matter who it is. Maggie was out there making a bunch of statements on me, and again, like I say, now I'm getting told other people. So it just doesn't matter to me. What matters is that we represent the people, the employees, and again, Bob, you represent OCP. I'm gonna represent every employee in the state of Oklahoma. I'm gonna represent District 19. I'm gonna represent the inmates in that institution that we are responsible. I'm gonna represent the taxpayers. I'm gonna represent everybody that I'm supposed to represent. Their job, run the prisons. My job is to look at the taxes, look at the, are we treating people, answer the public. Respond to the public. That's who my boss is, not the people of the state of Oklahoma. And I'm gonna dang sure be responsible. And at the end of the day, I can tell you this, Bob. When I go home, I'll be able to look myself in the mirror, and I can look at anybody else and say, "Hey, I have not done anything." There are people up there that owe the lot. I mean, the lobbyists have own a lot of people up there. They don't own me. There's not an agency owns me, and I will promise you, there ain't nobody harder working to try to get to the truth on things that are going on up there. So,
Well, but the bottom line is, if you treat people decently, you don't need OCP.
no, well, here's the deal, Bob. In a way, but at the same time, even treating people decently. You know what? When I was in FOP, we had a lot of FOP organizations there that were in police departments, and man, the administration worked with them. You know what I'm saying? They used them. I'll give you a good example. You want to see an association that works like it should, go look at the Highway Patrol, their association. Now they don't always get along. There's administrations that don't get along with them. There's some friction back and forth. There's bills that we run that the administration doesn't like. I run stuff for the association, and the administration go, "Well, we're not really fond of that. We're not going to back you on that." But there's a lot of bills that I run for the association, and and the administration will both. So the agency and the association, and man, when you can get both of those backing you, you got a really good chance of getting your bill passed. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
they have a strong organization, strong association, and they have a strong. Now, anybody with a half a brain, that's what they would want to do, is to say, let's keep our employees happy. Let's build a relationship with their association, and let's work together and try to be where, hey, you can come and take care of most things informal, and that everything would be much more positive. And again, that hadn't been the fact. And so again, you're gonna get tagged with being either a liar, a bully, out here spreading what they say is propaganda, untrue. And again, I wouldn't be on here saying, if I'm saying something I believe is true. I'm not saying everything that I say is 100% exactly the way it is. But guess what, Bob? These people are just getting reports like I'm getting reports. So for them to act set up there and I've seen their investigations. I've seen what they've got. I'm unimpressed. The people who investigate work for you. Guess what? They're not. Can you twist them? Can you? We all know that. We know exactly that. And if you sit there and say it ain't, you know what I'm saying? That's hilarious. And so again, I run a bill to try to remove OIG from the director just because of that reason. And it wasn't under this director, so it's not a personal thing towards any director. It's just that's fundamentally incorrect. And again, if you're sitting there looking at these investigations, and if I come and say, hey, the guy you investigated didn't do a good job, I didn't accuse him of being, I just said he's not doing thorough investigations. He's not, and it does appear that these things are being covered up. That you're going to people and saying, if you will say that you did this, we're going to let you get out of here and resign. And I say that because look how many people have resigned, and
Right.
look how many people aren't being charged with rape. And we know that that's going on quite a bit. Anybody that's worked around prison knows that's happening. I can tell you, I can name you, whether, and again, I had worked around the women's prisons, and it sounds more prevalent than that, and that's pretty easy to believe. But I've worked in the men's prisons, and I can name you multiple employees that had sex with men and were allowed to leave and nothing done. And again, that may be the way they want to handle it, but it's not the way it's supposed to be handled. And that's what I'm saying. And when it becomes an issue where it's being pretty prevalent, when you got employees that are sexually harassed, grabbed, their butts grabbed, and then you got an employee who will write that we have in writing. Bob, we got it in writing. That employee says, I lied because the investigator that we're talking about told that employee, according to I got it in writing. It's there written down. Now, am I lying about that? No way. I've got it in writing. Now, is that employee telling truth or not telling truth? I don't know, but that ought to be looked into. And she says that investigator told her, if you say this happened, you're going to be terminated. Well, guess what? That's intimidating. What do you think? She going to say, yeah, it happened? When if you say it happened, you're going to be terminated. If you claim this, you're going to be terminated. Say this, you're going to be terminated. Now, what happened? Well, what the crap? What kind of investigator is that? You know what I'm saying? Bull. And so, if you're wanting to find out the truth, you don't go in there and say, hey, we're going to blow your head off if you say this. Well, don't be surprised if their answer go, oh, it never happened. What do you expect? What do I have in writing? Do I have in writing from another employee? Another employee, not this same employee, another employee saying that they've sat right in the executive rooms and had these people tell the person that's reporting the incident, get them to change their testimony when they have it on videotape. Do I have that in writing? I do have that in writing. That person has sat in a room and watched them change a person. And I think they say in that not once, but multiple times that they've seen people do that, change their testimony when they had the testimony on tape. Now, guess what? I got another in writing that everything this doctor that they fired claimed, I got the same thing in writing from somebody else, written at separate times that they didn't know. And guess what? All the same information, same stuff. Warden was drinking. Warden was hostile, cussed out people. That the sexual, even named the same officers, the same inmates, the same everything, claim the same thing, separate persons, separate times. Guess what? Now, does that warrant investigation? I would say so. And to go over and talk to the guy who's intimidating people, getting them changed while they're on tape, that's threatening people with their job, again, I don't know. That's the guy I want to go over and go, did you do that? So that's where I'm, and then you turn around and fire the person for reporting that stuff. And again, oh, we didn't do that. That's a lie. Well, guess what? The court didn't say it's a lie. The court said you did it. And guess what? Then you come back, and then the department even writes a letter saying, oh, since we terminated you, we've now discovered, which means we didn't have nothing to terminate on you, but now we've dug up some trash on you. Now that's what they wrote, Bob.
Yeah.
That's the stuff I'm talking about. When I reported the people in the shower, guess what? I didn't just jump up. I don't know. I find it hard to believe that we would even build a 2x2 shower. I can't believe that we would have a shower that small. So one right there, I've got questions. Is that shower that small? Two, is there other reports? And here's what's funny, Bob. Guess what? Do you have another report of it? Absolutely. Can I tell you other people who reported it? Absolutely. Guess what? Absolutely. I'm not just saying. I can name you about 5 reports off the top of my head, and I call and say, "Look, you got a problem." And here's the problem. Now, if you want to bet whether hire me to investigate it, hire me to investigate it. You can come and go right with me. We'll get to the bottom of it in probably about hour or 2 hours, because all I got to do is go in and find out who was in this meeting, and boom, I can tell you real quick whether stuff happened. It's not that hard. It's not brain surgery. So the thing about it is again, stuff that seems like it'd be pretty easy to prove, stuff that I can prove pretty well. Again, and it'll be covered up. If it ain't covered up, I'll be shocked. And here's what's funny. And I hope administrations listen to every bit of this. I don't give a damn who's listening to it. I hope listen to me. That is a human rights violation. You cover it up. If you're making attempts, you're telling people to cover it up, you're as responsible as the people doing it. Don't cover it up. Make sure that if it's real, and again, if it's not, that's fine. But be able to come out and say, here's how we proved that it wasn't. But when you got 40 witnesses and you don't go talk to one of them, you ain't done much of an investigation. When you got a whistleblower and you ain't even went and talked to them, you ain't done an investigation. And that's pretty. You know what? When you got the whistleblower sending in a whistleblower act and it going to a district attorney or an AG and an attorney general's office, there's no question did that happen, Bob. We proved beyond a shadow of a doubt. I got an affidavit from OMES saying that it is. And they even named the person they take it over there to. Now, are you going to go and investigate what that person said, what that person did, and why they were fired? That's what a whistleblower investigation is. Guess what? The AG didn't do that. Guess what? DOC did not do that. Nobody looked into, did this person actually have a reason to believe that these rapes were going on, and did she have a responsibility to notify and to stand up? Nobody looked into that. Again, it doesn't matter whether the allegations are true or untrue. Did she have a responsibility to report what she knew and what she had? Absolutely, all day. Did the department fire her for that? I believe so. I believe all day, and you can look at the tapes and figure out why I believe that. It's not based on Humphrey's opinion. It's based on actual court hearings, two court hearings. It's based on how the department handled that. It's based on the paperwork they gave. It's based on what OMES reported and the paperwork they gave. So again, did it get investigated? Absolutely not. And that's what I'm saying, Bob, is that that's the way things are going. That's the way things seem to get done. I'm not happy with it. And again, I don't know, again, I'm not the AG. I'm not the prosecutor. I'm not the DOC administrator. I am the state representative who's being told all of this. I'm putting it all together. And at the end of the day, I think if anybody in the public or anybody else wants to look at it, I would say most people that are any kind of reasonable would have to agree with it.
Well, Representative, I just want to close with that program they put on today was a great program. It was very well done. Very well done when they walked everybody outside. They had his name covered up on the where he has his name for the warden on that billboard. They had it covered up, and they undid it. They cut it, had a ribbon cutting. It was done very well. Whoever put it together did a very good job, and that was very very impressive. and I'm proud that I went. I'm proud that an officer that has put his life on the line for DLC. I'm proud that they honored him, and I'm proud that we shut down that prison and going to the private prison be our prison. We'll do a much better job, and the guys will like it a lot better. We're better for everything, and I think that I'm glad of all that. I'm glad I'm seeing an improvement. But I definitely the governor's one pushing the private prisons, getting them out of here, and we need to get them out of here. We got room now to put prisoners in. We're not crowded like we were at one time. So I'm happy about it. I was uh, I was happy that I got the notice to go to that deal today. I didn't know it was a special. You on invites invitations only. I just got that and I went, and I'm proud I went, and I'm proud of the way that they handled it.
Well, I'm glad that they had a positive thing, and that's good. And again, I think the right move is to um, get out of the private business and then work on trying to get, trying to increase your employees. I know they're trying to do that. I saw a really good ad the other day. We've been hollering for that for 3 years now, and now we've seen it. And again, what I'd say is work on your relationships with your employees so that they go out. That's your number one recruiter. That's who's going to, that's who's going to bring in employees or not bring in. That's who's going to keep you from getting employees, or that's who's going to be gathering you employees. And so I'd just say work on those, on the culture, on the relationship, employees relationship.
Well, representatives, it's a pleasure to be on here today with you, and I'll
Bob,
guess we'll.
I need to apologize. I ought not to cuss so much. I shouldn't get so riled up.
Well, whatever.
I've been told I'm unprofessional for that, and they're right. And I just want to say, hey, I need not to do that. My bad.
Yeah.
My bad.
Well, everything's going good on our end, and we just keep plugging away, and I'm not quitting. You're
Nope.
not going to run me off. You're not going to threaten me, and you're not going to go out and talk to everybody out in the prisons. Don't join OCP. They don't want you to join OCP because we call them out. We call that transparency out, and we're going to continue to do that.
That's definitely they do not want people join OCP, because if you join OCP, you get the more people join, the stronger the association. The stronger association, the more control you have over your environment, over those prisons, and they don't want that. I would encourage you, join OCP.